Hey guys, it is Ozarla and today I'm here to share with you some of the crucial advice to succeeding on the map Dam Battlegrounds. With the dam being the first area all players have access to, I decided to make a comprehensive guide to increasing your survival rate on this well-rounded map. With wipe coming up in 8 days at the time of making this video, many, and I mean many, players will swarm to this map, making it necessary to have a better understanding of the monuments within the map. I have over 500 plus hours on this map alone, and I can guarantee beginners and advanced players alike will profit from this video. Without further ado, let's hop into the guide. The first monument we'll be talking about is Control Tower and Research and Administration. This is the hot spot of Dam Battlegrounds and most people will be going here. Starting with the first tip, you're able to come up on this desk after you get up the staircase and you can look through this window to shoot at people that are coming up the staircase. After going into the next room over, you can go into this cafeteria and there's some more windows where you can actually shoot outside down below you where people usually come up. It also has another angle at the staircase, the metal staircase that I just came up. Moving further into the building, there's some more windows here that you can jump up on to actually shoot down into the streets. Keep in mind, Osprey is best used here. It does sacrifice your ability to third person peek, but it allows you to aim through those slits easier and shoot down below. Coming around to the center of the building, you'll see a giant hole in the ceiling. People can get up here and they will jump down and mantle onto these ledges. If they do, they're an easy kill, but watch out because they can mantle down there and get stuck. After going down the zip from the second floor to the first floor in the lobby, you'll notice that there's some concrete planters you can climb to get to the edge of the roof. There you can see on the outside of your building or stay here for a perfect ratting spot. There's also another planter on the other side of the room that allows you to get onto the other wall to look outside or camp here in the corner for people coming into the lobby. In the center of the lobby, there's also a hole in the ceiling as well as the second floor that goes all the way down. This is important to remember. After that, if we head to the outside, you'll notice that on this side of the building, there are some windows. These windows are a bit finicky and unique. The one on the far left and right is really hard to shoot through, so I wouldn't recommend it. Instead, I would recommend coming one down and trying to shoot through this slot instead. You can also shoot through this window as well. Moving to the other side where the other three windows are, you are able to crawl through this little hole right here. This is pretty useful for getting in and out because a lot of people will put traps on the entrance of this side of the building. You're able to shoot through this window as well, but not this window. This one's real finicky and plus there's a box in the way. Coming back in on this side, I would recommend placing jolt mines here and here because it's where most people come in at. Moving into the other side of the first floor, I would say that this is the strongest room to hold. Starting off, there's a window right here where you can jump in and out of the building. If you come up and jump up like so, you're able to reach the front of the building. If you mantle back on this yellow electricity box, you can get back up to the top, jumping into the window, getting back in the room. Over here on this far window pointing outside, you can get very good angles for people entering that window and going back inside the building. These four pillars are the strong points of the room, allowing you to peek each entry and exit of this room. Now, these four vantage points are strong, but what tends to happen whenever you have a good cover is most people will peek and start to throw utility at you. If that ever happens, jump down here. Into this basement, you should have a few nooks and crannies to hide behind. If you go in this back side of the room, you can actually place up some barricades and hide back here in the corner, and it's very hard to see you through the dark visibility. It's good to do if you ever get sandwiched in that room. Going down and opening the door through the basement, you should be able to see a long hallway right down here. It's high traffic, so I like to avoid it, but if you come out here, you actually have an angle to the people peeking out that window that I showed you earlier. Same if you're at that window, you can peek people on that bridge. Another good exit strategy is if you go to window and jump down here on this railing, instead of going up, you can go down this ladder and actually slide all the way down to the base floor of Control Tower. It's pretty useful if your team ever dies and you really need to get out of that room. And if you ever need to get up this ramp, you can actually go up to the edge of it, get no running start, look down, and sprint right up the hill. Whenever you start to see the surface on the right straighten out and go flat, you can now then jump over and climb the ladder. You can also do the same at the very bottom of the hill all the way throughout this ravine. Now, moving on to the control tower portion of the monument, we're going to go through this main zipline room. Once we reach the top, you want to be careful because there always is usually people camping here. But if you are the people camping, a good escape route to know is out here on this ladder. To do it 100% of the time, you're going to want to go to the edge of the sheet metal and jump while spamming E. To do it 90% of the time, what you're going to want to do is come to the edge of the sheet metal right here and then jump while spamming E. If you do it correctly, you should be able to latch onto the ladder. Now going down is much easier because all you have to do is slide down, look left, and jump onto the sheet metal. On the other side of this control tower is a little lip that you should be able to zipline right here. It's a little finicky, but if you mess with it, you can get it. Going back to the ladder side, which is the one I prefer, it is usually safer, and if you actually come right down here, there is another zip line, but you have to actually activate it from the other side. And if you go to the other side of the roof, you'll actually see the hole that leads down to the second and first floor. Now, as I said, do remember this because it is pretty crucial. You're able to shoot people down from here, but I wouldn't recommend jumping down because you are an easy kill whenever you mantle onto that ledge. Now going to the edge of the roof farthest away from the control tower, you will see this metal staircase. You can jump down here if you don't want to take the zip lines, but I want to show you guys something else. So normally what a lot of people will do is they will take this staircase down shown on the left, but instead you can jump down the railings, mantling onto each railing and hitting control just to fall down. Now, if you guys remember earlier in the video me saying to remember the giant hole in the roof, well, here's one tip that helps if you want to actually go down there without dying. You can come to this side of the roof and jump on this last framing on the vent, and you can look through the window and actually see if anyone's watching that hole to see if it's safe. Okay, I see that's safe. I can actually snap hook back up here and go through the hole in the roof. If not, I can jump down to this railing right here, mantle on, and get out. Moving on to the next area is Hydroponic's Dome Complex. This is a pretty cool one to learn because there's going to be a lot of springs you can get from this place early on in the wipe. Starting off in the second primary building, you're able to jump up on these shelves, and it is a very good angle to hold whenever you're defending this building. You're able to shoot at all three of the entrances and exits, but just be careful because the tarp is not bulletproof. You're also able to get up on the other shelf if you need to, if you want a different angle or whatnot. Another thing you can do is if you climb this red locker, you're able to climb up the shelf, and by holding S and walking backwards and spam jumping, you should be able to latch on to the top of the shelf, which allows you to get onto the top of the dome from inside the dome. This allows you to shoot down below and have some high ground. Next, going into the next primary dome, you'll notice that there is 3 entrances and exits that most people think of when entering this primary dome. What I mean by primary dome is that this has 2 weapon crates and it has the most loot, so it's called primary dome. But you're able to enter and exit through this little hop up right here. Not many people know about this, but if people are trying to push inside your dome, you can jump out that way, and you're able to actually get a nice flank on either of the 2 entrances and exits. Just be careful because people can also come in this way. Another snazzy way is in the middle right here, you're able to jump up on this truck, and by spam jumping, you can kind of ricochet yourself off the side of the dome and jump over into this loop. It's really nice if you're being held outside. The next spot is on top of these boxes. You're able to jump up on this door frame where you can then shoot in through this little triangle. I like to use this a lot instead of using snap hooks because when you use a snap hook, it is very loud, and most of the time people inside will know that you're on top of the building compared to just jumping up and then climbing up. And in the 2 smaller domes, you're able to jump up on these little hydroponic things that spawn moss and shoot people. The next POI we're going to be looking over is water control. This is my personal favorite monument, and starting off, I do want to preach that these 2 ladders right here that most people want to climb when coming in on this side, do not use. They are very loud and you will be stun locked while climbing them. Instead, come over to these windows right here and climb this frame. It then allows you to climb on top of the window sill and actually look inside the building. This is way better, quieter, and you're able to catch people off guard way easier here. Now, if you made it this far in the video, you might recognize this next spot from the intro, but this is a really good vantage point when it comes to looking in the main part of water treatment. Most people would go into this door, but do not go into that door until you cleared it through the window. Now, most people will spawn on these areas right here where I'm marking on the map and rush towards water treatment, especially early wipe. And it's really dangerous just to open that door and walk in, because whenever you open this door right here, you'll notice that there is all sorts of places for you to place jolt mines. So instead, if you go over here to this window seal, you'll see that you actually have a nice view of anyone inside, if there's any traps on the door, if the place is looted, just to give you a whole bunch of information whether if there's people inside here already or not. Now, the room inside water treatment is very, very strong to hold, especially on this left angle right here for this door, because on the outside, this is what it looks like. It is completely dark. Even with your flashlight on, it is very hard to see if there's a player there. Now, if you're ever exchanging shots and you need to change it up, you can come out right back here and hold the angle from this way. And if they throw a nade in, you jump behind this filing cabinet to reduce any splash damage. And what I see a lot of people not doing enough is this route. This route right here takes little under 10 seconds, and you're able to get to exfil and contest people whenever they're extracting there and you're in water treatment. It is extremely fast and reliable. What I see a lot of people also do is they actually come up here behind these trees and this foliage, and they'll camp back here for this extract. And a way to counteract this actually is if you're coming from control tower, you're able to jump up on this mountain. You can jump up on here and get a nice flank behind them if they're camping in this area. I recommend coming through here a lot. The next area we're going to go over is texting Annex. This is another one of my favorites. I love this monument. Snap hooks make this monument very easy. A lot of the times I do not like to go in through the front door. Whenever we get up here, we're able to jump down through this main hole in the ceiling that reaches down all the way to the bottom floor. Or we can come over here to this little lift and jump down onto the second floor. This is pretty convenient, and you're able to get the jump on a lot of people by doing this. Now, on the back side of the annex, you'll notice that there are these little fins that allow you to look outside the building. This is pretty convenient whenever there's a lot of spawns on this side of the building, so you're able to actually jump up here and get some sneaky shots off whenever someone's entering the building. If you really want to dedicate to a team that is probably stuck outside, you can actually jump out here onto this little lip and get the jump up on people. If you don't have a snap hook, don't worry. There is a ladder on the side of the building that allows you to crawl all the way up to the top of the building, or if you want to, you can actually jump off halfway to the second floor door, which is pretty convenient. The next little jump is pretty easy to do. A lot of people think it's a lot more difficult, but if you give yourself enough room to run, it is very easy to snag onto the ledge right there. If you guys have made it this far, thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. Please do not forget to like and subscribe and comment if you want me to make more content like this, perhaps even another guide on a different map. It would mean a lot to me also if you guys could check out my Twitch and TikTok under the handle Ozarla. Thank you so much and have an amazing day.